Hey Rangers, we've got another review for you. This time it's Piccolo from the Dragon Ball Z range or the Dragon Ball Kai range in the S.H Figuarts. So let's have a look. First of all, we see that it's a lovely shade of green. He's got his antennas and his ears are quite pointy. He has that moody expression that he always has during Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball S, as we're now coming up to. And if we look at under his eyes, you can see that there's a lovely black line among it. He got his growly face with his like, I'm not happy. And as we move down here, we see that the muscles contour between his neck and his chest. We have his purple gi that's here. So that one comes off like that one. That one is kind of stiff. Comes up to his shoulders. I don't know what these are. I don't think they ever explained it, but there we go. It's got the kind of like different color texture and it can really stand out. Just below it is kind of like a brown, or it looks a little bit reddish, which kind of stands out quite a lot. As we move down, we can see in his gi he has his red sash, or belt, should we say, and also the lines. I love the lines on his arms. Like you can see that the muscle definition, as well as like the string. It looked just fantastic. Got green joint, which is fine, and again you got more detail just there. It looks absolutely phenomenal. And when you actually put your finger on it, you can actually feel it, and it feels like fantastic. Here we got his gi, which reminds me a lot of Vegeto and Goku that we've reviewed in the past. And again, they've done it like if you were wearing a gi, these were the muscles and the lines would be. As we see down here on the legs, we see that when he's wearing the gi, you can see where it would be if you're wearing it normally, as we've noticed with all the others. With his hands here, you have like kind of the brown, like a darker brown, which links in very much so to here with his other lines, and his hands move slowly. We're going to look at it properly in a bit, his maneuverability, his durability, flexibility, add that one in. So when he's wearing it, you can see that they've taken the time. It's all kind of a hard plastic, not a material, which is fair enough, but you got more lines here and here, and it just feels really kind of cool, to be honest. We see now down here with his kind of his lower legs to his feet that they've not left any detail. I quite like the fact that his shoes or his boots or whatever they are, they don't really come up to his near his ankles, but they've actually put the kind of his skin in, and you can tell also with the yellow thing, whatever it is. I never knew what they were in Dragon Ball Z, so I kind of think they're just part of his Namekian kind of heritage, or it's just his race. But also what I quite like, if you can see it, and you can see it on this one here, if I put my hand there, is the kind of lines where either it looks dirty or it looks like they've been really worn. So if we move it around slightly, we can see that there's more kind of lines, and when you run your finger over it, you can actually feel them properly. They're not just painted on, they've actually put a little bit of sculpting and actually made it look realistic. Again, if you want to move his toes, if you wanted him having on kind of rocks or anything, you can move his toes up and down. When we look at the back, it's a smooth green. There's no bumps, nothing, so it's very much like the character has. You can see his ears pointing out here, and then just underneath, so it looks a little bit wonky, but you have the kind of a head line, or you can take it off for the others, which we're going to have a look in a minute. You see at the back of his gi, there's kind of just like lines, and here again you can see there's more kind of ruffles, like he would be wearing it in the actual anime. As we can see here, there's the kind of his back, and they kind of bring out where his muscles are. This is absolutely fantastic. We can see a better look at how it is, and he looks like a tree. It reminds me of like tree stumps, like the rings on a tree, when you actually see how old the tree is. You can see here that it just pops out, and then his muscles are here. The joints are there again as the green, and you can see the back of the sash is kind of ruffled, which looks fantastic. Here you see more ruffle to the actual back of the figure, which again reminds me of like if you're actually going to wear it. Now again, we see these sorts of joints. I'm not a huge fan of them. This one seems to be okay. I know when we first reviewed Super Saiyan Goku, I didn't like the way they were, just the way they bent. With Vegeta, they were not too bad. We can see that the same joints here, and then again some of the muscle has been taken away, but then again that's just to actually have the figure to be able to bend properly. Again, the lines are all pretty much similar to all the other gis that we've had. So now we're having a look. I quite like these boots. Of all the figures that I've seen, these boots seem to be my favourite, and I'm hoping, I think if we get Gohan, they'll be very similar to what he has. As we can see, they're kind of lines kind of folding over like the material, if they were leather or whatever they would be. You can see at the back there's more lines. They've really gone to town on this one. They've not like kind of left it off. You can see that there's a lot of kind of like sculpture, definition, everything you've got that you would normally have. One thing I would point out is when I looked at his face while zooming in and focusing, he looked a bit like Grumpy Cat, and that's how it is, Grumpy Piccolo. So we have a look at it. So with the feet, they move around, they're on a ball joint, so you can move it at 360 if you want to. With the knees, again, they're a lot easier than what Goku was, but then again, just there, if you don't kind of push it in, you won't know. It will literally stick out, which isn't too bad, but you only got these joints here. You kind of want to make sure that they go in properly. Don't force it, because if you force it, it could break, and you don't want to break your lovely figure if you get it. So we know that that's kind of moves around very similar, and his arms kind of move around just like so. So it works in. I quite like the fact the gi kind of follows it and it's stuck there, so it's not going to fall off. And then again, when we look at his head and just turn it around like so, it's absolutely fine. So his head moves around. It kind of stops near his neckline, but I'm guessing, oh no, you can't actually turn it all the way around. Be careful with his antennas, you don't want to break them off. They are stuck on quite nicely, but never kind of like force them up and down if need be. So with every kind of figure like this, you normally get a few extra faces. So we're going to take his head off like that. That was really quick. And then we're going to place it on his new one. Now just be careful again, make sure it attaches properly, because you don't want to damage it, and you don't want to kind of push down on these because you don't want them to break. Now this is his kind of his powered up angry face, and what I like about here is that they've put the kind of veins that you see in the anime, if you can see it with that light. So yeah, you can see that they put the veins there, and obviously he's looking that way. I would have liked it if he had his open face screaming looking forward, but as you can see, he's looking off to his left, which is absolutely fine. His ears, you can see, is fine, and it kind of like really brings out a different array to the figure, especially like say if you've got these to his like chest. It looks actually quite cool. As we've taken that one off, his other one is, this is I think probably my favorite one. This is kind of my favorite one, his Turbon, where you do get the cloak with him, which is fine, but I really like the way they've done it. It kind of reminds me of Frieza a little bit. If Frieza was sat on his head, but with the turban they've got the lines, they've not just left it white like normal, and again it kind of goes around the back if we have a look there. But Piccolo looks really cool with his turban. Kind of, he was always my favourite when he's actually got the turban on and he's kind of looking around. So this one you can play around because it hasn't got his antennas. But yeah, I think this really does give Piccolo a kind of different feel when you've put this one on, especially with all the heads in general. So you also get with Piccolo his kind of cape. So literally the way it is you take his head off. Now, one thing I do like is that you do get extra these kind of his folding arms, which I like a lot when he's watching over Gohan. But you literally place it over, make sure it's all fine. So yeah, you kind of place it over like that. I'm gonna put his turban head on. One thing I have noticed is when this is on, you do not get much maneuverability with his arms, and obviously you can move his head. It kind of stays in there. I had a little bit of trouble with this when attaching it on. That part there goes in fine. This part I feel like it doesn't. I kind of really wish they addressed it, but I really like the fact that they've included the turban. His arm you can't really move that well, but I'm guessing it wasn't really designed. It's a hard plastic, and when you add it, I think this brings a lot of life to the character, especially around here. You've got definitely the lines of the cape, and I really like the fact that it comes out. It reminds me a lot of like the Thor figure that we've removed, the Thor figure that we've reviewed. I just kind of wish that you could move it up and about. But this definitely is my kind of favorite version of Piccolo. He looks really snug, like this is really warm, but when he's fighting, obviously it's a lot heavier for him, but when he removes it, it just falls and makes a crater because it's so heavy. Now, out of the entire posing of the figure, I think this is my favorite. I just love the crossed arms. It looks like he's not happy, but he's also kind of just waiting to jump into battle when need be. You get a shorter version of that compared to where the longer one is, where he's got his arms down, but I really like the way they've done this. This is the third Dragon Ball Z figure that I've got, and I can't wait to add the rest to my collection, but this is definitely worth adding if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, or if you're definitely trying to collect all the others. So yeah, I really just like this. I think this is the third figure that has the arms. Gokai Red and Vegeto all have cross arms, and this is just fantastic. There we go, Rangers. There is Piccolo. He is a great addition to my Dragon Ball Z Figuarts and my collection in general. I really like him. I think he's awesome, and I can't wait to collect all the others when they're out. So, Rangers, let me know down below, what do you think about this figure? Would you get him? Would you not? What are your loves and hates about him? Pop it down below in the comment. Pop it down in the comments below and let me know. And as always, Rangers, So if you've liked this video, like, favourite, comment and subscribe. Check out Yada Games, all that lovely goodness. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Now, out of the entire posing of the figure, I think this is my favourite. I just love the crossed arms. It looks like he's not happy, but he's also kind of just waiting to jump into battle when need be. You get a shorter version of that compared to where the longer one is, where he's got his arms down, but I really like the way they've done this. This is the third Dragon Ball Z figure that I've got, and I can't wait to add the rest to my collection. But this is definitely worth adding if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, or if you're definitely trying to collect all the others. So yeah, I really just like this. I think this is the third figure that has the arms. Gokai Red and Vegeto all have cross arms, and this is just fantastic. There we go, Rangers. There is Piccolo. He is a great addition to my Dragon Ball Z Figuarts and my collection in general. I really like him. I think he's awesome, and I can't wait to collect all the others when they're out. So, Rangers, let me know down below, what do you think about this figure? Would you get him? Would you not? What are your loves and hates about him? Pop it down in the comments below and let me know. So if you've liked this video, like, favourite, comment and subscribe. Check out Yada Games, all that lovely goodness. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.